There are many ways to fail, but there are many ways to also succeed. Hey guys, my name is Steph. I am a long-distance real estate investor that specializes in Airbnbs. In this video, we're going to talk about how to be successful in short-term rentals or in Airbnbs. And in short-term rentals or in Airbnbs, it's important to remember that it's first and foremost a business. Yes, you are buying the property, but you are also needing to operate it. And a lot of investors, they think that short-term rentals or Airbnbs are passive, easy money. And the truth is that it is not. It is active. You can make it passive. You can make certain components passive for sure. But when you're first starting out, chances are you're going to be wearing many different hats until you really develop those systems and fine-tune all the operations so that you can eventually make it passive. So right now for me, where I currently stand, I have virtual assistants that help me with my guest communications, with my day-to-day, with vendor relations. I'm still involved in some ways, but it's becoming less and less the longer or with more time that goes by. So there is some light around the end of the tunnel here, but we're going to talk about the ways to be successful with Airbnbs. So first, depending on the strategy that you pick, whether that is co-hosting, whether that is arbitrage, or whether that is buying, the operation is the same. How you run your short-term rentals. So that's what we're going to focus on. So the first thing is you really need to invest in having automations and learning how to automate things. And what I mean by that is having a channel manager. And so I've used 4 different channel managers. I've used Guesty for Host, I've used OwnerRez, I've used Hospitable, and I am currently on HostAway, which I'm actually really happy with. So, and I have reasons why, and I'll go through that real quick. First off, Guesty for Host is great, actually. It's what I would recommend for a beginner Airbnb operator. But the only thing is that Guesty for Host, there's two things with Guesty. There's Guesty for Host and Guesty for Pros. Guesty for Pros is what they really focus on. Guesty for Host used to actually be your porter, and then it was bought by Guesty, and now it got renamed as Guesty for Host. The thing is that there are limitations to the functionality of Guesty for Host, and even they themselves say that it's really meant for smaller operators, about 1 to 4 properties. And that's the reason why I decided to move to a different channel manager. The other 2 that I tried out was OwnerRez and Hospitable. Now, I actually liked having both, but my problem was that I did not want to keep having both. OwnerRez is great in functionality. It is a little clunky, but I will say it had one of the best financial reportings, which I really liked, but I did not like having 2 different channel managers. And the reason why I had Hospitable in conjunction with OwnerRez was because the communications on that end aren't the best with OwnerRez. So having Hospitable, there's actually an article within OwnerRez, they know that people use both, and so they actually created an article, like a troubleshooting article, so that you're learning and you know how to integrate both. So it's kind of a strange thing, they knew that, oh, people use Hospitable, so let's try to help you do that. Kind of strange. So anyways, I decided to go to HostAway instead, and HostAway is a lot more intuitive. I wanted something that was the biggest package, and I looked at different PMS channel managers. Property management software is the other term that you'll hear. And HostAway had it all, and what I liked was that they did do an orientation or an onboarding with you. It was about 3 to 4 weeks, I believe. There was an extra fee, but it was pretty affordable. It was $100 at the time, and it was very much worth it. Guesty for Host is like a plug and play. OwnerRez, Lord help me, that learning curve is beyond me, and I'm a millennial. And Hospitable, easier to learn. I'd probably say that's the second easiest one to figure out after Guesty for Host. HostAway, once you get the hang of it, is not that bad at all. So that's on that piece. But having that automation set up with your guest communications, having it all housed in one place, and so on and so forth is one thing that you definitely need to be successful. And this is whether you have 1 property or 10 properties. I think everybody should have a channel manager. The other thing is to have some sort of dynamic pricing. I use Price Labs. I'm a Price Labs fan, but there are other ones like Beyond Pricing or Wheelhouse that a lot of people swear by. I would demo each one and figure out what you like the most. Important to have that. That way you're not having to keep tabs and you're not leaving money on the table. Another thing that's necessary to be successful on Airbnb is you need to keep tabs on your rankings in some way, shape, or form. I use RankBreeze. Kelvin Ma, he created a really great product. I used to before go manually on Airbnb to see where my rankings were. And pro tip here, if you're going to check your rankings manually on Airbnb, you need to go and do this on incognito mode or in a private browser. And the reason why is that if you do this on your normal browser, your results will be skewed because every time you check to see where you're at, it's going to keep showing you what you want to see. That's just how the internet works. But if you go on a private browser, it's going to be a lot more of a true representation of what a normal guest would see if they're looking on Airbnb. So, pro tip if that's what you're going to do. I still do that sometimes, but RankBreeze has made that so much easier, and it's helped me keep track of the different changes that I've made so that I can see if certain changes that I make within my listing actually help my visibility. So you should have something that will help you do that, or if you are going to do it manually, you need to make it a scheduled thing to do this as part of your workflow. Now, one last thing to be successful on Airbnb is that you really need to have good photos and you have to really have a solid listing. That is what your guests will see. Invest in having top-notch photography and make sure that your listing descriptions, your titles, all look really well. And not only that, but make it to where you look at somebody else's listing and, compare yourself to what they look like. If they have really good reviews, if their occupancy is great, and there's so many programs that you can do to compare your listings or to see how that listing performs in general. It's okay to compare yourself in this way, and actually you want to. So see how your listing fares to other listings in that same regard too. So, but these are some ways to stay successful or to be successful on Airbnb and in your short-term rental business. Good luck.